Hello guys and welcome to my tutorial about Prop Hunt and how to use it after you downloaded it. Alright, so here we are over in Unreal Engine, and the first thing that we're going to do is inside of the content folder you will find the Prop Hunt folder, and in there we basically have the game. So if you click on maps, then the first thing I want to do is quickly go to the gameplay level. Typically you would go from the main menu into the gameplay level by hosting a match, but I just want to quickly show you guys and explain to you guys what is necessary in order to set up games for yourself, and also how you can actually adjust the games or for instance add more levels and such. Well, first of all, yeah, so it's Prop Hunt, so we got spawn locations here. This is basically where you just spawn as a player. So if I am to hit play right now, I spawn over here as a player. It is a random player with a random color as well. And then the first thing that we see is that we need one more player in order to start this game. So in order to test that, you can then go over here and click on 2 players, and then you can go to play as listen server. Then I recommend clicking on new editor pie window, and here we go. So now the countdown starts basically, and then you see that we have 2 players over here, and let's wait till the countdown stops. Alright, so the player here on the left, if we make it a bit bigger, then we see that the player here on the left is a prop and the player on the right here is a hunter. Now this countdown is counting down, and then this hunter over here is going to be released, and then it can find the prop. So this guy should now turn into a prop real quick, so let's shoot this thing, and then this guy should basically hide, and then it's the hunter's task to go out and to find this prop and to actually shoot him and turn him into a hunter as well. Now if no props are left, that means that basically the hunters have won at that point, and yeah, then the game is over. So in the top left corner of the UI you see time till next ping countdown. That ping countdown basically fires off on all the props, and it reveals their location a little bit. And then what the props can also do is the props can unprop by pressing G, become any other prop, and the props can also taunt. So if they press F, they can basically taunt the other player. Just like that. Alright, and then at some point the hunter shoots the prop, boom, and then the match is over. So yeah, where do we get started? How can we add more props and how can you add more levels? Let's do that. So the first thing that you need is inside of a level, and this can be any type of level. You can click here on the top left, click on create level, and then do basic level. Then you just need to create your level first of all with static meshes that can be used as props. So the first thing that we do in the world once you create a new level or duplicate this one, so you can right click duplicate as well, is that you set your game mode. So the game mode that we need to set is blueprint game mode gameplay. And this game mode basically defines all of the other classes that the gameplay requires. So the classes like player controller, game state, player state. So that's the first thing you're going to do, is assign that game mode. And then the next thing that we do is we need player starts. So to get a player start, and we need 3 different ones of them. So to get a player start, you go to basic and you drag in a player start like this. And then we have to define this player start so that the players can start somewhere. So there's 3 types of them. So let me drag in 3 of them, just like this. And each one of these we're gonna have to assign some different values to. So the first one, and that's all these over here, if we go to details panel, are the player starts with the start tag. So over here, if you select your player start, then let's type in start. And then what you do is that you scroll down and then you go over to advanced. So under actor, scroll down, go over to advanced, click on tags, click on add. And then the tag that you want to add is also start. Then the second one that you want in your level, those are over here in this level, are basically the player starts for the hiders, so for the props. So that is what you're gonna type as hider. So over here in your player start, you're gonna do hider. And then you also scroll down to advanced tag, and then you select here, hider. And then the last one, that needs to be the one where the hunter spawns. So for me, the hunter spawns over here in this little box. And the tag over here is going to be hunter. So if we then go back to the last player start here, then this one you would have to call it hunter and also create a new tag here. Let's call it hunter. And then you just place these wherever you like. So here, this is where the players initially spawn. This is then where the hiders will spawn, and this is where the hunters will spawn. So what I recommend is that you do it something like what I did over here. You have the hider, or sorry, you have the start, so all the standard players, and then here the hiders, and then here the hunters. Now the hunters are in this box, as you see, and then they get released after a certain countdown, and that release happens with this blueprint hunter door. You can find it over here under blueprints, gameplay, actors, and then here you see this hunter door. And this door opens after a certain countdown in the game state, and then this goes up and the hunter basically gets released. Okay, then let's talk about some of the countdown times and stuff before the game starts. So if we go into core, gameplay, core, then we see here blueprint, game state, gameplay. And if we open this up, make it bigger and go over to the event graph, then what we see is that we have a couple of countdowns here, and these countdowns are of a specific amount. So first of all, we have the game start countdown here. So this is the amount of time that when at least 2 players connected, the game is going to start the countdown and then start. So then some people become a hider, others become a hunter. And you can just adjust it by clicking this variable here and set this to any amount that you'd like. And then we also have these other 3 countdowns. So we have when the game starts, we have a countdown until the hunter is actually released. And that is basically the moment that this door over here actually opens up. So that is our hunter release countdown. Now to set that one, you go over here to in the bottom left to match settings, and then you have to set the hunter initial release. So it's currently set to 20 seconds. You can set it to any amount you like. Then we have the ping countdown. That is the ping that basically reveals all of the props locations every so much seconds, and however many seconds you want that to be, you can set that over here. So initial ping is currently set to 10 seconds, so every 10 seconds, but you can set it to any amount. And then the match time countdown. Now this is the time that the hunters basically have in order to find all of the props. If the hunters do not find the props within this time, then the props automatically win, because that means that they survived the game and haven't been found in time, basically. So to set this match time countdown, you can do that over here. It's currently set to 60 seconds, so 1 minute, but you can set that to any amount as well. Okay, that covers all of that. Then let's talk about how you can actually add more props, because some props you can shoot and others you can't. So for instance, this pillar, I cannot shoot it, well, nothing will happen. So how do you add more props? Well, first of all, you're going to have to add them as assets to your actual project, right? So you will buy some kind of prop kit from the marketplace or whatever, and you will use that. So you can find them under assets, and then we go into level, and then we go into props, and here we have all kinds of static meshes that we can use as props, just like this. And all these is just static meshes, so nothing special to them, no code, and there are no blueprints either. And then the way that it works is that over here in blueprints, you go to core, gameplay, and then we see data here, and then we see the data table for the props. So this is basically the data table for the available props. And over here, what you do is that you basically set the name of the prop, and this has to be equal to what the actual name of the prop is. So if this is SM Banana, then what I do is that I double click it, and then here inside of my data table for the props, I actually set the row name to SM Banana. So you double click it like this, then you set it. And then you set it up, so then you just do SM Banana in here, you do SM Banana in here, and then you have to assign also a capsule height and capsule radius. And what that means is that your player will basically, if I get the player here real quick, well, your player has this capsule here, and then the player will basically become smaller if it becomes a banana. So this capsule height and radius also have to be adjusted accordingly. And what I recommend doing there is that if you look at your prop, so let's say this bar stool, you see something here in the middle called approximate size, which says 53, 52, 83. So if the size of this bar stool is 83 units, so that means it's almost 1 meter high, it's like 83 centimeters basically, then the capsule half height is 83 divided by 2. So that capsule half height is 83 divided by 2. And the width of the bar stool is then 53 divided by 2, because that's basically the width of the bar stool. So what we do then is, if you find your bar stool here, then you will see that we set the height, which is the half height, to 41.5 and the radius to 25. And at that point you have a nice capsule for each of these static meshes basically, so for each of these available props. And if you want to add more, you just add your static mesh props here, and then over here in the data table you just add a plus and then you just fill it in. So you would just do like SM and then new, and then plug in all the data here. I mean fill in all the data here. Okay, so that's that. Then we save this, and yeah, at that point you basically just go ahead and you create your level however you like it, so you can set everything up accordingly. And then once your level is done, then the last thing that is left to do is to be able to host your level. So you go over to widgets for that. So click on widgets, go over to main menu widget, then we go make this bigger. Then what we see here is a widget switcher. In that widget switcher we have a host game menu, and in the host game menu we have a map selector here. Now this is currently set to map 1, and the option is also only map 1. So if you have another map, you will simply open it and you will type map 2. And then what you do is that you have to also code it so that we can actually go to map 2. So in that case we go to the graph, and then if you zoom out you see 3 categories: main menu, join game, host game. So in the host game over here we basically can switch the selected map, and if the selected map is equal to map 2, so what you do, you click this little pin here, you then select the on switch string, you open the pin names and then type in map 2. So if the selected map is map 2, which we just added, then we can actually, let's remove this one real quick, sorry. Then we can actually open a gameplay level according to that map. So at that point for map 2, you open gameplay 2_level, or whatever you decide that your new map name is. So you basically, this map name over here, you simply put that into here. All right, and then that's it basically for being able to host your map. Then we have some last code over here in Blueprint core, gameplay, core, Blueprint game mode gameplay. And that is that once the match is finished, we call a function which is called travel to level. And what this function does is it gets the current map name, and then based on that we can switch and travel somewhere else. So let's say that if we are in gameplay level 1, we want to go to gameplay level 2, just so we can toggle to the next and different level. And then we can say, if we hit the plus, we can say if we are in gameplay level 2, we at that point want to go to, you've guessed it, gameplay level 1, for example. So with this little function here, you can basically toggle what happens once you once the game is finished and you have to travel to a new level. So here we go from gameplay level 1 to gameplay level 2, as we see, and from gameplay level 2 to gameplay level 1. So we have this nice little loop of going to a different unique level every time. Alright guys, that's basically it for this project. This is all the setup that you need to understand in order to use this product. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.